Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, and welcome back to the channel. Make sure you're hitting that like, comment, and subscribe button, and more importantly, turn on those notifications. That way you guys get notified when we drop hits like this. This week, we're showing some love to the Dolphins and what they got going on before the season kicks off. We're also gonna check into the results of UFC 319 and an honorable mention to the Miami Marlins for putting up a fight. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go!
We gotta do a lot of things, my friend.
Yeah, for sure.
We're running out of time here, so that's the thing. We're always constantly running out of time, or is it
moving,
just
things are happening.
Existential dread? I don't know.
No, you know what it is, bro? It's like we don't notice it, but this is the beginning period of like everything ramping up, sports-wise. The end of baseball, new sports kicking off. Basketball's gonna be back before we know it. Football's kicking off soon. College football's kicking off soon, right? Like all these things are happening. Then you throw in big fights, big MMA events. Like there are all these things happening. So it's just like one thing after another, one thing after another. It's crazy.
So you're talking about the best time of year is upon us.
Absolutely, without a doubt. If you're a fan of sports, this is it.
There's
no better
wait
than this.
to be sweating bets on my couch every Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Wednesday.
Let me tell you, nothing makes you sweat more than that cash out button.
Nah.
You're 3 out of 4, quarter left, and you're like,
Yo.
do I cash out for the 116 or am I in it for the 500?
No, bro. No. In the words of our boy Jason HQ Golf,
Yes, sir.
fuck a cash out.
Fuck a cash out.
I'm gonna insert the clip right here.
I can't believe no cashing out, no cashing out, no fucking cashing out, baby.
You know, if you know, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to see you, brother, as
Likewise.
always. This episode is gonna be a good one, man, in my opinion, though, because
They're all good, bro. What are you talking about?
yeah, but like different in the sense of like how we're spinning what we're talking about, right?
Okay.
Let's start off with the breaking news of the day.
Oh shit. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis.
And an exhibition match coming up.
Exhibition
later this
match
year.
on Netflix, right? Crazy for multiple reasons. Number one, in my opinion, the weight.
It's a drastic difference.
Brother, you got a guy fighting at 135 pounds, you know, going up against a guy who's fought 185, but closer to 200,
Yeah.
right? Every single time.
Jake Paul's 2 bills.
How the hell is he gonna even be able to get down to a catch weight? And what's a real catch weight? The Gervonta at 155, 160, maybe? Nah, dude, it's gonna have to be like 165 or around that range, right? Because you can't also tell this guy, hey, you gotta cut 40 pounds to fight me, which 60 is 40 pounds off rip.
Honestly, when I heard the news, I didn't look at it in terms of anything serious, remotely serious. I looked at it in terms of this is going to be what the Jake Paul Mike Tyson was, which was a sparring match. They're going to go in there. They're going to have a gentleman's agreement. Hey, no stupid shit.
Maybe.
Let's go out there. We're 2 stars in our respective sport. Let's just go out there and exchange some blows and, you know what I mean, some body shots and go give the fans a show for one night. But I don't see that being a credible boxing event.
I don't think it'll be a credible boxing event in the sense of like record on the line or anything like that, right? And this is why I think it'll be closer to a real boxing match than what people originally anticipate. Recently, Jake Paul got into the top 10 of the WBC.
Interesting. I didn't
Right?
know that.
Yeah. So he's in the top 10, right? Or maybe not the top 10, but he's like a ranked fighter on the
that's
WBC.
different. We can't be spreading fake news.
No. But I think it's a top 20.
Let me look it up. What would I look up for you?
Jake Paul WBC ranking,
Okay.
something like that.
10-4.
For him to be on that list is a huge achievement because everything we've done has been like quote unquote exhibitions.
He now ranked eligible for WBA cruiserweight title. This was as of July 1st.
So look at that.
This is the first headline I found. I didn't dig into it.
So if you're eligible for any World Boxing Association, World Boxing Conference, whatever you name it, if you're able to fight for the prize fighting, right? Prize fighting for the belt, for the money, all that shit, then yeah, you're a serious boxer at this point.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm not discrediting Jake Paul's boxing ability.
Is going to be in there. It's just going to be a spectacle because like again, the weight difference is so drastic.
I mean, so there's a reason for weight classes.
Yeah, absolutely,
in every
bro.
sport.
Absolutely,
for the most part.
absolutely.
You can
It's
argue.
combats.
You can
When it
make,
comes to combat sports,
you can make the argument that hey, we got to rework the weight classes in some of these different combat sports. Okay, there's an argument to be made there for certain things, but the weight classes are tried and true throughout combat sports.
For sure.
And one of the reasons is because it's like, all right, you want a fair fight, right? Two people that are very similar to each other, if not like not too far apart.
Right.
Right, where one kind of makes up where the other, lacks or whatever the case is. But in this case, if they were to go out there and fully box, and Jake Paul wins, I mean, all right, bro, you're 60, 70 pounds bigger than that guy.
Right. Like, how credible is that?
Not great for you. If Tank goes out there and wins,
You
we
beat-
kind of see that. We kind of go, yeah,
saw it coming.
Tank is
We
a dog,
we saw
bro.
it
Like, we
coming.
know, like, that's impressive. I think that you give more credit due to Tank at that
Absolutely.
point because
Especially if he
knocks out a guy that's 60, 70 pounds
200
heavier than him.
pounds.
But the inverse doesn't work out for Jake Paul. So it's like,
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
That's
It's a
probably
weird
why
fight.
he approached the situation. He's like, hey, you're a draw. You're one of the biggest names in boxing today.
Right.
You know what I mean? And let's go make money together. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You'll get a bag, I'll get a bag. We'll put a show on for the fans. and
Quick 7
I think that's what
rounds.
we're gonna get, bro. Yeah, something like that. A
Quick
short
7
fight,
rounds,
a sparring
dog.
match.
Let's sweat a little bit.
I'm not looking too into that one.
Yeah. They're both in the same club that night.
Exactly. That's
They're
enough.
both in the same club
That's
that
enough
night,
about
dog.
Jake Paul and
All right, put me next to
Gervonta.
my dog, Jake Paul. We're going to buy some bottles.
We got sections across from each other.
Yeah,
They're still fighting.
Competing.
They're just doing it in different forms.
Bottle service, you know what I'm saying? That's wild, dog. But it is going to be interesting. Let's see how it works itself out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let's kick off the Dolphins segment with the latest news, right? They signed outside linebacker, Matthew Judon to a 1-year, $6 million a year. A lot of questions, right? I put it on the poll on the Instagram story, and the results were mixed, but heavily favored towards people questioning why we signed another defensive player.
Sure.
Right?
Well, defensive lineman.
Defensive lineman, front seven type guy.
Particularly instead of a defensive back. That's kind of where.
Right, you got somebody for the front seven instead of the back four, right? The way that I saw this signing, right, and I'm pretty sure this is the way that the Dolphins see it, right, if you look at the reporting and stuff being done around it. The best thing that the Dolphins have going for them is the defensive line. There are things that can be great, as great or greater than the Dolphins' front line, but if we had to put bang for buck, it's the defensive front seven, right? We got a bunch of murderers row. So what do you do to
On
make
paper.
sure? No, and even performance-wise, we got a couple of guys coming off an injury,
That's my thing.
right? But we've seen those guys produce crazy numbers.
Sure.
Crazy numbers, not normal numbers.
well-
Because Phillips was on back-to-back double-digit sacks.
Yes.
Not a lot of people do that.
Jalen Phillips, phenomenal, since we drafted him, but the other one is Chubb.
Yes.
And Chubb, you could argue, it's like we've been
Okay.
off more we could chew there.
Right.
We haven't gotten the return there really with that.
But look at what we invested in Sealer, right? Paid off.
Also dealt with some injuries now too. Like we were kind of thin last year, so like
Bringing in Dobson was huge for the linebacker core, right? Because he came in mid-season trade and was able to add more to that position.
Right.
So again, we're fortifying what's our best trait. And I think it is the defensive front seven. So if you have questions about guys like Phillips and guys like Chubb, and now we see that Chop is starting to show some wear, right? Because he's going so hard to be the best that he can be. We re-signed Sealer. Like we drafted two guys that are getting playing time in these preseason games. They're definitely heavy investing in the place where we're gonna be the best at. That doesn't mean we can't be the best with Tua and Tyreek and Water if those guys start to pick it up. We've seen what that can look like. But with the defensive front seven, we have to rely on something. What's it gonna be? That.
yeah, no, I think the other end of that was why not in the defensive backfield, but it's like. Last year we had Jalen Ramsey and we had Cater Kohu and we had a couple other guys that were doing well for us that could have and they still let up a ton of plays down the
X-Men
stretch
2
that
years ago.
we didn't need,
Yeah.
And then it goes to all right, why was that? Because the quarterback had the ball too long. He had too much time in the pocket. He had enough time to make a play. Where they can only cover so long, and it's like at that point, anybody, no matter how good of a DB you are, you're going to get burned at some point if the quarterback has that much time.
And even on
so
the
they're just trying to reinforce now. All right, we got to get home. We got to get to the quarterback. When that ball snapped, we got to make sure we get home and end that play before anything further can develop, because that's where we lost a ton of plays last year and a ton of games was in those second, third moves the quarterback would make, rolling out of the pocket or whatever, and then those guys that were back there on an island, somebody gets open, and that's it. You're done. So I don't mind the move. And then Judon's a stud, bro. I mean, we haven't even talked about him, but this guy's an all-pro.
Yeah, an all-pro, a guy who's committed to being part of the group, right? And knowing that he has to come in and fit the high standard that's being put on the field, because then he won't play. And he came here to play, to show that he can play on a good team and and earn himself another contract. Let's not kid ourselves. He's playing for money, right? But he's gonna have to make it in a tough locker room to make it on, because the defensive line front seven is so hard and so entrenched as the best part of this team.
All right, Judon's not an all-pro, but he's been a Pro Bowler 4 times. Sorry,
look at that, bro. That's
I don't want any Harlows in the comments to go after me, but just reiterate that. Still a stud.
Still, and even still, you mentioned something right with the quarterback play. A lot of the quarterbacks that we face nowadays are guys that can escape out the pocket and make a throw, and then there are other guys that can escape out the pocket, make a throw, and run forward for yards, right? So the Dolphins were weak in those first two levels, right? On the defensive line level, and then right at the linebacker level.
How many times did we bitch that Javon Holland had to be the guy to make the play every single time, which we miss Holland?
You get what I'm saying? But that's the way that it happens, right?
Yep.
And since we can invest in doing that, that gives us a better shot.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
absolutely.
yeah.
I like the move. I think we still need work in the defensive secondary. Whew. There's still things that we need to do, and hopefully that's where they're at. But, seeing that he's available and knowing, again, we have injuries. The injuries can add up quick. You can't, put all your eggs in one basket. I like the move, man. I think it's a smart pickup for the Dolphins. But one thing we haven't talked about, man, all right, 2 games into the preseason, 2025 preseason, and the Dolphins are 1-0-1. Have not lost a single game yet in this preseason. Coming fresh off of a victory in Detroit against the Lions.
Correct.
Where it got dicey at the end, but we managed to pull it out.
I mean, everybody knows, right, when you're watching preseason football, what you're trying to do is look for something that is going to stick out to you throughout the season that you notice or can emphasize on and say, this is where the team's going to be good at, this is where we're going to be bad at, this is where we have depth, this is where we don't have depth, and we're going to need this, right? Within these 2 preseason games, what we have been able to notice, right, is that more importantly for me is that on the offensive line where we're at, where we kind of want to be. We're not close to it.
I'd say we're trending. I like the gesture. Trending. I think we're trending in the right direction.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get game reps. Preseason reps is only 2 to 3 times. First drive, it's over.
Yeah.
Right? You need the game reps. So what I'm seeing from the offensive line is that right now they're not gelled, but by week 3, 4, 5, they're definitely going to be gelled. And that's going to bode well for the rest of the season, barring any injuries, right, to the offensive line. The second thing, the backup quarterback. And I mentioned the backup quarterback position not to say that Ewers deserves to be the second, right? But the fact that those guys are competing for it is important, right? Because it keeps this dude, Zach, fresh, on point, focused, like super focused on what he needs to do to get better. Because it's going to happen that he's going to have to come into this game, right? Maybe for a play or two, but it's going to happen that he's going to have to come into this game. He needs to be ready. He knows that. He carries that pressure on him, and you can see it. Even when he misses throws, misses a guy, whatever, you can see that he takes that like if it was a regular season game, because that's the way he's seeing it. I love to see that from my backup quarterback, where he's not just like, without worrying about how he's going to play in the regular season. For Ewers, biggest thing is that he can prove to himself that he can compete at this NFL level, right? A guy with a lot of background, yardage, accomplishments in college, este lo otro, 7th round draft pick. People were questioning him coming into the draft. He's proven to himself that he can hang in the NFL and knows what he has to do to get better. Conversely, it doesn't put pressure on the Dolphins to make him better today, right now, next week, next month.
Yeah, we got our guy.
We got our guy, right? We can find out what he is in 3 years, but we got the guy.
Yeah, let's develop you.
Let's develop you. We don't need you right now. Our backup is good enough to compete, right? And you can compete with the backup, so We're solid.
So that we don't put you in a situation where you too early in your career, which happens time and time again, you're put in a situation where you're asked to perform and you're not ready yet, and then the lights shine bright, and it's not your fault. Like that's not your time. You know what I mean? Like that's something that, you know, a lot of these college kids now that are like leaving college early to play. You know, like when it's hard to find like a Jaden Daniels, you know, that comes out and just immediately figures it out. You know what I mean? You need more time to develop, bro. You know, you need that time. So I love that for Ewers. I think I like Zach Wilson in the way that he's been playing so far. You know, as backup coming in, you know, he's done well. Talk to me about the running back room, because we got a lot of guys right now in the running back room. There's a question right now on Devon Achane's availability with his calf, a potential setback potentially. Not too bad it looks like, but it's definitely something that's present right now. We have also Jalen Wright, who's the second man out. We lost Alexander Madison to a neck injury in the first preseason game, but now we've had the emergence of one of our rookies we drafted this year in Ollie Gordon.
Yep.
And I wanted to see what your thoughts were around that whole situation with the running backs.
It's interesting because 6 weeks ago we would have said, man, we don't have to worry about the running back room. We're solid, right? We're solid. Today, we're looking at the running back room and it's nothing but question marks. And that's a problem, right? Because if the emphasis this year to be a tougher team, the running back has to be a part of that, right?
100%.
100%.
We got to change it up.
We got to change it up. The O-line is the first line. The running backs are the second line, right? So it worries me that right now already, Achane is dealing with a calf injury, because that's going to limit him the entire season. How much, we don't know, but that is a motherfucking fact, that it's going to hinder him, because it's such a delicate injury.
And you can get re-injured again.
At any moment, and you know, especially when you're going to max level like you would in the NFL game, right? That counts, right? Where you know there are guys behind you that are trying to take your job. So it worries me about Achane, right? For Dolphins reasons, for fantasy reasons, right? Like that's a guy that I look at and I'm like, fuck, question mark. And that's not good for us. With Jalen Wright, it's more of like, I haven't seen the level jump, right? Because he's gotten the opportunities in the first 2 preseason games and he hasn't really, quote unquote, shown out anything. And then you get the guy that's the rookie doing more with less talent around him. Doesn't look good for Jalen. Now he's looking, over his shoulder, and Ollie's like, that's the guy I can get, because if I can get to that spot, this guy may go down at any time, and I'm in.
Yeah, and he's looked good. I mean, the kid's putting it all out there. And
real deal.
The little bits that we've seen him play.
He looks like the real deal,
He's taking advantage. He's a big bruising back, it looks like.
Yeah, and he can, and once he gets going, he's even tougher to take down.
Yeah.
And he's shown little bursts of speed and shit like that. It's nice. The only thing I want to see is how he evolves, right? I don't mean in his running style or how he prefers to run, right? It's going to be, are you going to be able to be part of the offense when the play is not for you? Can you block? Can you recognize blitzes? Can you cook? You know what I'm saying? Like those little things. Can you do that to be an asset to Tua if you're going to be standing next to him?
Right.
Right? So that's what I'm looking for, his evolution, right? Because as a runner, he's shown that he can do his thing. There's no doubt about his running skills.
So we got one more preseason game left
at home
before
Saturday against the Jaguars.
Against the Jaguars at home before the season kicks off. What are you looking forward to for this game? What are you trying to keep a keen eye on?
To be honest, bro, my number one thing for this game would be no injuries on any level. On any level, any position, any player. I do not want to see a Dolphins injury. The reason being, I have a feeling that we're going to need the guys that we have practiced with, have gone through camp with, know what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are. Maybe we don't put them on the 53-man roster, right? But that's a guy we keep on the practice squad, and then boom, an injury happens, which we know happens in football. We have a guy who we feel comfortable, and now we're not going on the market to spend a draft pick, right? Because that's part of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for. No injuries, to make sure that the guys that we can evaluate to be a part of the Dolphins moving forward are there and they get their opportunity to work on their shit and come out cleanly. The second thing is Ewers. Ewers is going to get a lot more time with guys that are probably closer to the second team, right? Because we don't want to risk Zach that much. So yours is going to get time to play. And I want to see his continued development, right? Because I think that we do have something in him, bro. He's showing good arm strength, good recognition around the pocket, can take off when he needs to, and slides and shit. So I'm excited about that kid. So that's what I'm looking for, because after that, it's guys that we don't really want playing for us, right? But it's good to know that they can play for us.
Okay. I'm going to be looking at a couple things for me. For me, first and foremost, pre-snap penalties.
That's been big.
Dog, every time I see one, bro, it pisses me off, bro. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
man.
usually just a lineman lined up in the wrong place, bro. And we'll get a good play, a good chunk, and dog, like, I get so frustrated, bro. I can only imagine how, like, McDaniels feels when he draws up that play and one guy's just out of play. Like, you know, we give McDaniels a lot of shit, you know what I mean, because of, you know, for obvious reasons. But, you know, you got to give credit where it's due, and it sucks when you can't even take credit, because then it gets called back because one guy out of 11 doesn't know where he's supposed to be at. So looking at that, like, just kind of cleaning up, you know, like those, like, dumb mistakes or whatever. And then 2, capitalizing, bro. In that game against the Lions, we won it by the skin of our teeth because, you know, we had the lead, and then we were driving, and then we couldn't do anything with it.
Right.
They turned us over.
Right.
And all we needed was a field goal.
That's it.
We just needed to get it. We were close. We were like at the 50 or something like that, and we just needed to get into field goal range, get a shot, and then, all right, good. We're good. We got in a good lead. We're good. No, instead we turned the ball over, and then they start driving the ball down the field on us.
Yep.
And then they almost score, and luckily the rookie, whose name escapes me at this moment,
Washington, I think his last name is.
No, it's like Robinson or something.
Something like
I
that.
think his last name was Robinson.
I don't know. He probably won't play.
Dog, that kid deserves a spot just because of that play, bro. What
Maybe,
a play
right?
that kid made off the line, bro.
Yeah, great play.
Jumped like higher
Jumped
than
the
I've ever
route.
seen anybody. Jumped the route, went to go just block it, and then just like, oh no, I'm gonna grab this perfectly and end the game right here, and boom.
Yeah.
We ended up winning the game, thankfully. So I don't want to be in those situations. Let's close out. Let's capitalize. You know, it's goal-to-goal situations. We got to score.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We need to pick up
Anything
a third down.
inside the 20.
Pick up the third down.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's kind of the things that I'm going to be looking for.
That's good, bro. Like I said, we won't be watching too much of the game on Saturday, right? Because we know the type of players that are going to be playing in the second half.
Speak for yourself. I'll be betting on it.
All right, Joel will be betting on it. You guys probably
Hit me
won't
up
be
for the
watching
locks.
They might be there. But before we know it, we're kicking off against the Colts, who named their quarterback for the opener, Daniel Jones. So we know who we're going after.
Danny Dimes.
And I can't wait to break it down on OnlyFans.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time.
Coming back, baby.
Coming back, baby. We got that merch.
In case you guys don't know, it's still here on YouTube where you're watching
Absolutely.
this video. It's just
Absolutely.
our Dolphins-centric recap and
That's
review.
it. During the
post-game show.
season. It's only during Dolphin season. So you
And,
guys got to jump in while the getting's good.
It's
You know what I mean?
OnlyFans with a PH. So
That's it.
if you need more Dolphins talk,
You'll see
tune
it.
in.
You'll see it. You'll see it. Yeah, man. That's what I'm looking for the Dolphins, dog. Let's see how it goes, right? Season preview, game 1 coming up soon. Let's do a quick recap on UFC 319, right?
Okay.
Dricus du Plessis versus Hamza Chimaev, whatever the hell this guy's
Don't worry
name
about
is.
it.
For the middleweight
Hamzat.
championship, Hamzat.
Yeah, Hamza ended up winning that fight by
Unanimous decision, dog.
It went the distance.
And this is my problem with that. There was too much grappling. Because it was just grappling for grappling's sake. Now, granted, that's part of the game, right? Like, this is men fighting, get me off of you. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be up, stand, get off.
It's Ultimate Fighting
It's
Championship.
Ultimate Fighting Championship, right? But if you're talking that you're going to kill this guy, you're going to destroy him, you're going to you're going to do this, and you don't really hit this guy, like, with real significant strikes throughout the entire fucking match, like, maybe you caught him 5 times, the brief moments that it was standing up, or maybe, like, when you went for a submission, and that was it. Kudos to him, right? 15-0. That's impressive as fuck. Very, Hall of Fame worthy in the UFC, because not many people do that in the UFC. It's hard in MMA to be undefeated. And to do it in the UFC is even more impressive because it's really the best of the best. Let's not bullshit, right? For Dricus, I feel like it sucks for him because you lost your belt, you got manhandled, and you didn't really even take that much damage. So, like, there's no way he felt like he went out on his shield. Like, no chance of that, right? So how does he get better to fight a guy like that? I don't know. because he really didn't go too much to stop the takedowns. He didn't try really too much effort into getting up as often. You know, he was very comfortable to just fucking let him control him. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's like, do you have the will or not to get up and fucking try to end this fight when you know what his game plan is? Right, 3 rounds in already.
Yeah.
So, credit to fucking Khamzat, man. 15-0 middleweight champion.
A little underwhelming of a main event.
Main event for such a big ass hype fight, right?
Yeah, and then that's the funny thing though, because we were talking about it before the show. There was
Fight of the year.
Well, there was 2 the spinning back fist knockouts, was it?
Yes, back to back.
There's only been 10, I think, right?
Ever.
And there was 2 on Saturday night leading up to that.
Back to
so
back
like
at
leading
that.
up to the fight, like the card was great, right? I
Yep.
mean, everybody was like, dude,
This is
this
the
main
build-up.
event is gonna be insane, and then it was like, wah.
Yeah. Insert that fucking the sound
Yeah,
right there.
it just wah.
Yeah, because it was that. It was exactly that. You know what I mean? And that's what I think when you hype it up like that. Again, the
I thought it was gonna be a battle.
I thought it was gonna be a battle.
And like
Both of
more of a
I
like
thought both of these
a
guys were
standing
gonna
up,
go
like
for
throwing
it.
and like. But in retrospect, it's like, nah, you could have seen Khamzat doing that. That's what these guys do.
But at some point, you gotta go for it, dog. In the UFC, you gotta go for it because that's how you make your name. That's how you get like hype. That's how you get popularity.
That. I get
you know
that,
what I mean?
but still, at the end of the day, he's 15-0,
Yeah, nasty.
and he has the belt now.
He has the belt.
So,
and
like-
he's gonna have a bigger super fight, right? Because he can go up, fight 200 pounds
Like,
easily.
you know what I mean? Like, he won. Like,
Yeah.
he won, literally, in all senses of it. So,
Straight up. And even like you said, the two.
but what's next? What's next then for him, and what's next for Dricus?
It depends, dog. That's what I'm saying. Like he can go up and choose to fight for the light heavyweight title, right? He's in the middleweight right now. He can go up to 205 and fight there. It's not a jump. He said he's wanted to do that,
I think that would be easy for him.
right? He can jump down to 165.
Who's he got to fight at lightweight?
Oh
Who's
man,
the 205 champ right now?
Tapora, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
Khamzat and Ilia Topuria?
So but that's a crazy cut for him too, right? Because this dude walks around 190. You know what I mean? To make 165. How much are you getting back in that day, right? Before the fight. So it's interesting, but he has a lot of offers on his tape. His options are very viable right now in terms of whatever he has being something big for him next, right? And he's in charge. He's very charismatic. Obviously a fan favorite. People love to hate him. People love to love him. So that's a guy that's gonna be promoted by the UFC even more so, right? If we know anything about Dana White and how he rolls.
Yep.
I do gotta say
other
though,
news about the UFC and Dana White. We haven't. I
Yes.
don't think we mentioned that, but
Paramount.
yeah, the UFC is
Crazy.
going to go strictly to Paramount now.
Strictly
no
to
more
Paramount.
pay-per-views.
Wild.
Unprecedented move. I mean, that's amazing.
Unprecedented move. And again, it just shows the business savvy of Dana and the Fertitta brothers and how they envision the success of this company. You know what I mean? And their product. If you talk about being able to get the most bang for your buck, right? Because maybe they're not selling $65 pay-per-views every single time to as many people as they would want, right? Especially in this day and age where there are streaming services, there are illegal hacks and shit like that. So
Yeah.
that's starting to eat a little bit more,
Yep,
right?
that's a good point.
How do they guarantee themselves the viewerships, right? To sell ads, right? Because that's what they do. How do they guarantee them viewerships? Partner up with one of the mainstream fucking platforms. Now you're with Paramount Plus. Guess what? Your Paramount Plus went up to $40, but $35 or $30 a month, whatever. But now you get UFC, all of them on your phone, on the TV. You're not on a fucking hack where it's a delay. And
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
you're in.
Deal.
And a lot of people
I'm
already have
signed up, say
Paramount
less.
Plus, have ESPN Plus.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like you have a streaming device.
That makes
so
sense.
what a genius move for him to be like, yeah, this pay-per-view shit is for the birds. Let's jump into
It's
this.
only going to make it easier. And now the only thing I need for them is to like start the fights a little earlier for your boy.
Yeesh, good luck with that.
Bro.
Good luck with
it's
that.
tough, man. It's tough.
That 10 p.m. start time is like, yeah.
Just get it started at 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like move everything up a little bit.
You're
you know?
guaranteed at least a 20
When I'm there and the main event's like at 12:30, 1 o'clock, bro.
Come on,
my
Baba. No,
God.
that's hard. That's hard.
Come on, man.
That's too much. Come on,
Yeah.
Dana, work with us. Work with us. Yeah, let's see what's next for UFC, man. I know that they got the headliner coming up in like the next 6 weeks of Alex Pereira fighting. I forget the champion's name right now, but the light heavyweight champ. That's gonna be an interesting one, right? Because we're gonna see if Alex can bounce back. We'll talk about it more as we get closer, so stay tuned for that as well. We do have to give an honorable mention to the Miami Marlins. Right?
Oh man, was it us, dog?
For sure, it was
Because we
us.
didn't talk about them for a while, and they started doing
long
good.
time.
And then we were like, you know what, they're doing good. Let's give them their props. And they kind of like,
No, they completely went to shit, dog.
they've tanked.
They completely went to shit.
What happened?
100% it was us.
How many games have we lost?
It's been, let's see, they lost another one the other day, so they're probably 3 in their last 11, 14 games. You know what I mean? Like, it's been tough. It's been tough. But nothing's really changed for them, right? Because the expectation wasn't then for them to make the wild card. The expectation was for them to entertain. Put a product on the field that people want to watch, people want to get excited about, people are going to build interest on and shit like that, show up to games and blase, blase.
Yeah.
Because the Marlins don't have that.
No.
They don't have that, right? Or they didn't have that for a long period of time. So the fact that they're back to that level, right, where they can definitely, sell out a game, the Yankees come in town, the Dodgers, this, that, and the third, they're able to attract more people because the product is better. It's not where it needs to be, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
Right?
We had a good run.
Had a good run, dog, and again that brought the attention, national attention. People were talking about the Marlins, blah blah blah. Random people were talking about the Marlins, watching them now. Granted, it's not viable for them to sustain that, right? Because the team isn't ready for that yet.
No.
It needs a lot. It needs
Funny,
a lot.
week or two ago we were talking about the wild card, and now it's like, all right, let's take it back a notch.
But the team didn't change.
No.
Right? It was just the production of the guys that, as far as expectations. Right? Come on, man. You expect this Marlins team to freaking keep winning 20 out of 32 games a month? Like,
we had a great run,
and that was it, dog. And that was it.
The one shining light has been Stowers, though, bro. He keeps performing pretty consistent. I'm looking.
Yeah, man. That guy's been amazing. That dude has been one of the dudes that's really changed the game for the Marlins as far as being considered a contender. You know what I mean?
115
a legit
hits
contender.
this year, 61 runs,
Yeah.
73 RBIs.
Nasty.
And not to mention anything of the home runs. Yeah, man.
It's been good, bro. It's been good.
He's been
dog.
good. He's been our, the one thing we have to look forward to, but
There's that other guy where his last name starts with an M. Matterson. He had like a 2-run home run game with
Yep.
and his family was in the crowd and shit like that. Those are things that again keep the excitement going, dog.
right. But right
Marseille, that's what the guy's name is.
Yes.
Excuse me. Yeah, man. Jacob Marseille, man.
But now we're sitting at 59 wins, 67 losses. We're 3 spots back out of the National League East first to the Phillies. The Phillies are in first, the Mets are in second.
All right, listen to me right now, everybody who's watching this, right? Salute to the Marlins for making it for us to football. For bringing us all the way to the point where we've been able to talk about them, even like bet on them, see what the hell they're doing,
Have
make
a conversation
some money,
about them.
have a conversation right before football starts, because we know damn well once football starts, se acabó los Marlins.
You're absolutely right, bro.
Se acabó los Marlins. You know what I mean?
Shout out to the Marlins, and good try this year. And
that's it.
Let's keep improving and run it back next year.
That's it, dog. Football is back, Poppy. Football is back. We got fucking fantasy drafts happening within the next 10 days.
I got my first one tonight.
Look at that, dog. Fire.
You already know.
Fire.
I don't know my pick yet. We're going to figure it out at the draft. That was my recommendation.
Nice.
I'm a bit of a wild card.
Yeah,
I like to show up to the draft and find out your spot right then and there.
Oof.
No mock drafts.
I like it. Rugged.
I don't do mock drafts, bro. What's the point? Being like, who am I going to take with the sixth pick?
There's some type of strategy to it. But I feel you.
If you got strategy, you'll know the pick and you'll make it happen right
You don't have to make even 20 mock drafts. You do 1 or 2
more.
Bro,
if you know fantasy football, I can tell. If you legitimately know fantasy football, in my opinion, I can tell you right now, yours pick number whatever, the draft is starting right now, and you should be able to go, okay, cool. I can figure out exactly what I want my team to look at.
The only hindrance where it comes into the later rounds where you find a gem, right? Or a guy that carries you at some point in the season. Because a majority of the time, guys that you're drafting in the first 3 rounds get injured.
Yeah, but I don't even think that those gems in the later rounds, I think the majority, if you look at stats, the majority of your performance on your team is going to come from your first 3 to 4 picks.
They're always injured.
Not necessarily, but the majority, if you pick them right, the points that you're getting week in and week out, I think like 60, 70% of the points are coming from those
Because
4
they're
picks or whatever.
probably not injured,
And then
Joel.
the guys that in the later rounds or whatever, it's like it's
Those are the
few
guys
and
that
far
make or
between.
break it.
Like you gotta where it really comes in, bro, is the activeness every like year right before. Just having a little basic knowledge of like the depth charts, right? Knowing who's battling for what spots and whatever
Right.
the fuck, and or who's not signed yet. You know,
Right,
I saw
right,
some guy
right.
drafted Amari Cooper
Or traded.
who's not signed right now. You
Or
know,
traded. Right? The dude from.
No, but if they're traded, they're on a team. If they're
Well, no,
not
what I'm
signed
saying,
yet,
but they haven't got traded yet. Look at the dude from Washington.
Brian Robinson Jr. You know, yeah, but still, you know that
Something's gonna happen
If you know
with him.
football, you know that guy's gonna find a job. Like that's just
Right.
not the direction the Redskins want to go right now.
Right.
But he's still gonna find a job somewhere. So if you know football, your fantasy, you're gonna draft him a little bit later. But anyways, I say all that to say, fuck a mock draft.
What a great way to end the show, dog. But that means that football is back.
Yes, sir.
And that means that we're heavy into football.
I mean-
so that means OnlyFans at least 2 to 3 times a week. Toma. That means you're getting breakdowns of the Hurricanes. Toma. And you're getting a preview on both the Dolphins and the Hurricanes. And since we're doing the Hurricanes first, you already know who we're bringing on this show to talk about Miami Hurricanes football, because there's only one person in South Florida that you should have on any show to talk Miami Hurricanes football.
Yeah.
And you know who he is if you've watched the show before.
you know, you know.
If
We'll
you're
keep
a
it at that.
Hurricanes fan, you know exactly
If
what
you're
I'm
a
talking
sports with
about.
SoSo fan, you know exactly who we're talking
And if
about.
you don't, guess what? Tune in, Papa, next
Big
week.
guest.
And it's a big guest. You're not going to be disappointed. But you know what time it is, man. You got to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
To tell everybody they know.
To tell everybody they know, to spread it to their mama and todas las chimosas que are doing their hair and nails and shit like that, because we got an amazing podcast for you guys, and we're going to keep dropping it for you, bringing that football content, and it's going to be great this season, man. So until next time, it's your boy So for Joel. Till next time, peace.